ABC 22 News at 11.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Taylor Biles. Mike Coey has the night off. People across Vermont came together for the state's Cleanup Day initiative. Crews helped out in a number of cities and towns that were hit hard by the last month's flooding. Fox 44's Zoe Peterson has more on how leaders and volunteers are getting Montpelier and Barrie back in shape.
With orange bags, gloves, and determination, the state of Vermont is tackling the aftermath of the flood, showing the true spirit of the community. People of all ages and backgrounds statewide attended Cleanup Day to lend a hand.
Everyone getting together to promote that sends a sense of optimism and hope amongst everyone.
The cleanup initiative, supported by Green Up Vermont and Governor Phil Scott, is focusing on a number of cities and towns hit hardest by the floods. Two of the cities include Barrie and Montpelier. Governor Scott and his team spent much of the day picking up debris in various Vermont cities, as well as helping to resoil and replant Denty Park in Barrie. The event also partnered with Subaru of New England, which donated $250,000 to the state's ongoing flood recovery efforts. Much of the money will help crews safely deconstruct and remove condemned structures for flood victims at no cost.
We're really trying to get along the river corridor, especially in a lot of the low-lying areas around town that were below the water level.
Mark Zans, in charge of deploying volunteers to areas all over Montpelier, says between 50 and 100 volunteers showed up ready to get their hands dirty. Local and out-of-state volunteers like Vanessa Matisse, an exchange student from Germany, says the urgency to help was immediate.
I just thought it would be like my turn kind of to just help the community here and just kind of make a difference.
It's been really amazing watching this community come together, clean up, celebrate, grieve, all those things together.
Nancy Reed, a volunteer from the state's capital, emphasizes the importance of obtaining camaraderie during all the other recovery phases to come. Reed adds, however, there seems to be a silver lining in all this as people are continuing to give their time as well as dig deep into their pockets to give back. An additional $100,000 from the donations will go towards arts and music programs in schools across Vermont.
We've got a long road ahead, but we can all participate one little job at a time.
More information about how to get involved with cleanup can be found on greenupvermont.org. Reporting in Washington County, Zoe Peterson, Fox 44 News.
Well, a fun event for a great cause tonight. People gathered at the Saratoga Performing Arts Center to see the band Phish. The group, which got its start in Vermont, hosted a two-night concert in effort to raise money for flood victims. 100% of the proceeds will help people across the Green Mountain State and New York.
There aren't a lot of bands that, remember where they're from. And then when times are tough, they come in and they help out.
A popular ski spot also making a difference. Sugarbush Resort in Warren will host a day-long music festival. The event will also help flood victims. It all kicks off September 17th at 11 a.m. Tickets start at $20, and all kids under the age of 12 will get in for free. 100% of the proceeds will go to the Vermont Community Foundation's Flood Recovery Fund. Well, a warm tribute this afternoon for fallen police officer today. People honored the late Jessica Ebbinghausen at the Vermont State Fair. People were able to pay their respects by driving through the fairgrounds. Everyone who participated paid a $20 fee. The event was hosted by Halfway to Heaven Riding Club, and the organization tells us they were able to raise more than $1,600. All of the money raised will go to a charity chosen by Ebbinghausen's family. And developing now, 7 people are hurt after a shooting in Boston. It happened just before 8 o'clock this morning near a popular Caribbean carnival parade. Right now, 2 people have been arrested in connection to the incident. Tonight, Boston's mayor is reacting to the violence.
It's always just heart-wrenching to hear that a treasured community event has been disrupted by acts of violence from those who had nothing to do with the event.
All 7 victims were taken to the hospital for treatment, but they're all expected to be okay. The investigation continues. Well, 10 people are without a home after a fire broke out in Burke, New York. We're told this happened on Thursday on Depot Street. 5 adults and 5 children were affected. Thankfully, no one was hurt. The Red Cross was able to help out by offering shelter and food to those involved. And a scary moment caught on camera. A hot air balloon had to make an emergency landing in Hartford, Vermont after it stalled in flight. 5 people were on board at the time, according to Valley News. Traffic was reportedly shut down for about 20 minutes. No one was hurt. Well, you're taking a look at Washington, D.C. right now, where thousands of people gathered to pay tribute to a champion of civil rights. Today marks the 60-year anniversary since the March on Washington, where MLK Jr. delivered his I Have a Dream speech.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
Even 60 years later, that can still give you chills. The March on Washington is credited with helping pass the Civil Rights Act of 1964. The legislation outlawed discrimination based on race. Tonight, a woman who marched on that day 60 years ago is reflecting on Dr. King's dream.
Yeah, in many ways, yes, it did come true. In many, many ways. However, of course, you know, we are still in the struggle. We're still fighting the battles. We're still trying to integrate into a society that did not accept us in the beginning.
The National Park Service says about 75,000 people were at today's event. Well, people across the country are paying tribute to a man who left his mark on TV for decades. How folks are remembering Bob Barker after the break.
You're watching